Nhưng mọi người nào?
Đăng Thành,
Mai Hương.
Mai Hương.
Đăng Thành hình như mới vào.
Okay, thank you, monitors. All right, so last time we are talking about financial institutions, and we mentioned about financial system to understand where we are, where financial institution here. So today we keep this topic, but we discuss another aspects of financial institutions. But before that, I just want to review a little bit. So we last time we say that financial institution, that is one's way to connecting between the savers, okay, savers and the borrowers. So we have a financial institutions in the middle between the savers and the borrower here. Okay, can you see my writings, students?
Yes.
Yes.
And so we already mentioned about the advantage of a financial institution in here. The first point we mentioned about reduce transaction costs, right? Transaction costs. Because the savers or the borrower, they no need to spend time or money to find each other's. They can go bank, commerce bank or investment bank. They can go there and they put money and they borrow from financial institutions. And the other one is we say the benefits in terms of risk sharings, reduce risk sharings. Okay, and one more is we are mentioned about asymmetric informations. Asymmetric informations, bất cân xứng thông tin. Now I want to focus on this one because asymmetric information, they also the benefits, but we also consider as the risk for financial institutions. And from asymmetric information, maybe it create a financial crisis. That is a topic we discussed today. So that's why before we mention about financial crisis, I just want to explain a little bit about the asymmetric informations. So asymmetric information, we can say that is a one parties has better information than the other, have a better informations. Okay, so when we look at the relationship between the savers, financial institution, and the borrowers, so we can say that one side is the savers, yes, one party is the savers, and the other party is the borrowers. Okay, so who can tell me who have better information, the borrower or the savers? The saver, that's mean the people. Actually, the savers, they put money in financial institutions. Here, and then the financial institution, they make loans, okay, for the borrowers, to the borrowers. But in this case, you can say the financial institution maybe they are the lender, but actually both finally the saver, they are exactly persons, the lenders. Okay, the lenders, or it's mean that guy, they give money for the end user, that is the borrowers, that's the users of the money. So could you tell me who have a better information? Who know the monies, how money could be used, or how many could be invest, or could be support for the business? The saver or the borrowers?
The borrower.
Okay, the borrowers. That is always in the better information situations. Better informations. Okay, so it means the lender or the saver, they in the situation of less informations. Okay, and the Chinese person said that the borrowers, it means the people sit down under the shadows. It means the borrowers, it means the people or the person sit down on the shadows. And the saver is mean the person that sit down under the sunshine. Who will be killed? Who will be killed easier? Sunshine or the shadows?
Sunshine.
Yes, of course. So that's why you see that's the borrower. Actually, they always have a better situation. And so this one could be leading to the problems we call asymmetric informations. Asymmetric informations. As with the definition we have mentioned here, one party have better information than the other ones. That is the one point. The second point here is, now could you tell me what is the motivation of the savers? What do they want? When they put money on the financial institutions, what do they want? What do they want to get? They want to get profits. High or low profit?
High profit.
High profit. Okay. What about the risk? Do they really take high or low risk? When you put money, you expect or you're willing to take low or high risk?
Low risk.
Yeah, low risk. Okay. So here is the motivations from saver point of views. So what about the borrowers? What the borrowers? When they use the money, when they borrow money and they use that money support for their business or for their investments, what they get, the expect or the motivation, of course, they want to get high or low profit. High profit, right? Or borrower, when they go to the banks, they borrow money because they want to use leverage to earn more money. But you know that if they want to get high profit, they must take higher risks, of course, higher risks. Okay, so because of this one, it leading to the problem we call conflict of interest. Conflicts of interest. Mâu thuẫn lợi ích. Okay, and so you know these ones. When you look at the borrowers, they use money from the other ones, but they always in the better information situations. And you know that if they have a better information, sometimes they hide the risky project, or they intend to tell lies to the savers. Okay, and to avoid these ones. So last time we say that the government, they will be regulated. They get regulated by some ways. The first ones, the government, they set up, they we call the disclose informations. Disclose informations. Công khai minh bạch hóa thông tin, right? Disclose information via financial statements. You know, financial statement including the balances, income statements, note to balances, or the other one. So we including in the financial statement, okay, or annual report. Báo cáo thường niên. Okay, at the companies, and maybe they set up some standard. Okay, standards for both sides, even for the saver and for the borrowers. Okay, or they set up the insurance system to protect the savers. Okay, so that is some main way that the government they could be do in order to regulate the market or the regulates the financial institution to reduce asymmetric information and to reduce the conflict of interest. And we also know that we also last time we also mentioned about this one. Different country, maybe they can use the different regulations or the laws, financial laws to regulate the markets in orders to set up sound needs of financial system. Sound needs of financial system, or we call financial stability. Financial stability. Ổn định tài chính. Okay. To encourage, to make sure the whole financial system will be work very well. However, you know that in fact, sometimes the government, they will be failed in regulating market. If they fail in regulating markets, so that's why it leading to asymmetric information will be happened. Okay, so the risk or the disadvantage here is the government, they failed in regulating market and leading to increase asymmetric informations. And so it leading to two main outcomes we mentioned last time, moral hazards and adverse selections. It happens, and because of these ones, so that is the cause of we call financial crisis. Okay, finances crisis. Okay, that is also the topic today we mentioned about financial crisis. Okay, or we can say that financial crisis happened because increase of asymmetric information in economy, or the governments, they fail in controlling or regulating the whole market or the whole financial system. So that's leading to the financial crisis. Okay, and for these ones, I just want to tell you the first one, the process of financial crisis. Process of financial crisis, to understand how it happens, how does it happen. And then we also discuss, group discussions refer to different topic of case studies. I give you some case studies refer to different financial crisis in different countries, so we can discuss together. Okay, so first of all, we're talking about the process of financial crisis, or we want to know how financial crisis happens. So normally, financial crisis, they divided into two types of economies. One is financial crisis happen in emerging market, and the other is happen in the developed economies. Developed economy. Okay, and the other one is happen in emerging markets. Emerging economy. Okay, so in the developed economy or the markets, it happens in three ways. Sorry, just give me a minute. I have a phone. Okay, so step one, okay, it's different in the step ones. Step ones, we call that either Initiations of financial crisis. Initiations of financial crisis. Of financial crisis. Or sometimes it's we call the seed of financial crisis. Mầm mống of crisis. Could you follow me, students?
Yes.
You should follow those steps because later when you discuss in the group about case study, you should follow 3 main steps for different kind of financial crisis. Okay, so most of financial crisis it come from or it have the main reasons is we call financial liberalizations. Finances liberalizations. So what does it mean? It means that is eliminations of restrictions on financial institutions. Okay, or that is we call eliminations. Eliminations. Nations of restrictions on financial institutions. On financial institutions here. Okay, so how it happens? So I just want to give you an example here. We know that this side is the savers. Okay, and this side is the borrowers. Okay, and financial institution in the middle here. Okay. So actually, the saver, they put money or they leave the cash or the capitals on finances. Okay, and so the bank here, let's say here the commerce bank, we say commerce bank here, so they take monies and they make loans for the borrowers. Okay, but you know that when they make loans, okay, they set up some standards, or we call the conditions, lending standards or lending conditions. Okay, let's say the first one, you know, that's when you borrow money from the banks. The first one, you always provide the potential projects to engage that why you borrow monies, and after you have a money, how you use this support for projects, because the potential projects, it will be creates the potential cash flow to repay for the bank. Okay, let's say you have a project to open the coffee shops. Okay, so you make sure that after you use money from the bank, you need to create the profits, or you need to create the potential cash flow, and this cash flow have enough to repay for the bank, and then the bank take the money, pay back for the savers or for the depositors. Okay, so the first one, you need to have a potential project, that's a good potential project. Okay, and you also need to approve via the collectors. You know collectors, right? Tài sản thế chấp, need to have a collectors, and of course you need to approve by the profiles. It's good profiles to make commit that you will be repay the full money on time to the bank, something like that. Okay, so here we call the lending standard or lending conditions. Why we set up this one? To make sure that after you making lending for clients, the bank will be collect or get it back to repay for the savers. However, you know that we have mentioned here the problem we call asymmetric informations. Asymmetric information here. It means the borrowers, okay, they tell lies, they cheating, okay, and actually after they collect money or after they borrow money from the bank, they not use for the potential project, they use for the illegals, or even they failed in their project. So that's why if they tell true for the banks, maybe the bank, they know the actuals, the risk level of borrowers. But however, the borrower, they're cheating in the profile or collateral or even for projects. So that's why the bank, they don't know exactly the situation of the borrowers. And so that's why they're still lending for the bad guys, okay, the bad guys. So that we call adverse selections. And finally, the borrower, they fail in their projects, or they have a not ability to repay money for the financial institutions. If one person is okay, but however, a lot of borrowers, they fail to repay money for the bank. So at that time, the bank have not enough money to repay for the saver. So if that happens, it leading to the step 2, we call step 2 here. We call bank crisis. Bank crisis. It means one bank, they fail, or they fail in repay money to the savers. But you know that the whole financial institutions, they perform on the international, we call the charged. So it means if one bank, they fail in repay money for the clients, so so at that time, it's leading to the other client, the other depositors, they rush to the bank and withdraw money. And you know that if a lot of people, they go to the rush to the bank and they withdraw money at the same time, so it leading to the collapse. Because at that time, the bank, not only one, a lot of bank, the commerce bank, they have not enough to repay money for client at the same time. So it leading to the crisis, financial, the bank crisis. Okay. And finally, it leading to, we call debt deflations. Debt deflation is means, okay, the saver, they cannot, they put, let's say you put 10 million in the bank, but finally you get nothing, or you just get back a small money you already put on the banks. And so it's linked to the whole economy go to the crisis. Okay, so that is a process of financial crisis in general, but it come from here. Asymmetric information increase, okay, and the financial or the commercial bank, they cannot control the lending standard conditions, so it leading to the cheating from the borrowers. Okay, and later when you discuss about financial crisis in the world 2006 and in 2007, and maybe you understand very detailed about these ones. The borrowers, they borrow money to buy real estate, and after that, the real estate market going down. Okay, so the borrower, they have not enough money to repay for the bank, and after 3 months, 200 commerce bank, they inform that they have not ability to repay money for the saver, and at that time, the government, they want to save, they want to rescue the saver. However, it's too late because the debt, the total debt will be increased strongly, will be failed. Okay, so that is the process happen in the developed countries, refer to financial crisis. For emerging economy, the process is the same. It always come from the asymmetric information, because and it always come from the borrowers, they cheating. Okay, because they in the always in the better informations, and they have a better information, and they always use money for very risky projects, but they try to hide informations. They tell lies. So that's why the commercial bank or the saver, we don't know exactly how much risk level of borrowers. Okay, so we call that as a problem of moral hazards or adverse selections. Okay, and then it leading to financial crisis. However, in emerging economies, step one, where's my book? Step one is still step one the same, is that is the initiation of financial crisis. But however, step two, it not refer to the bank crisis, it refer to currency crisis. What does it mean about the currency crisis? It means because in emerging market like in Vietnam, if we have a problems in finances, or let's say after step one happens, a lot of people, they don't want to hold domestic currency anymore. They want to change another currency to hold it. Even we want to change into the golds or the other assets to hold it. Okay, rather than we call the bank crisis. But in more details, we should refer to different case study here. And now please we back to the, we're not talking about the case study, so maybe you understand. What is my writing? I'll get back to my lectures. Okay, lecture. Could you see my sharings? Okay, right now here. Okay, here is the lecture notes. Could you see the lecture notes, students?
Yes.
All right. Now, when we're talking of financial crisis in advanced or in developed economy, I just have mentioned here, stage 1, 2, 3, and in emerging markets, step one is the same. However, step 2 is referred to currency crisis. Currency crisis is mean in that country, the people, they don't believe in domestic currency anymore. They move to another currencies. And so it leading to, we call inflation or something like that. And step 3 is go to the full financial crisis. But in understanding more details, I have a 5 case study referred to the 5 groups. The group one, please talking or discuss about the great depreciations, the first crisis in the world. And group 2, it discuss about the global financial crisis, 2007, 2009. And group 3, you mentioned about financial crisis in Mexico. Group 4, you're talking about the East Asian crisis, 1997 and 1998. And the last one, you're talking about group 5, you're talking about the Argentina, 2001, 2002. For X financial crisis, you just describe the process in 3 steps I mentioned here. If step 1, it just tell me why it happens. And step 2, you're talking about how it happens. And step 3, you're talking about what is the outcomes of financial crisis. Okay, and you can go to the readings materials, reading 2 and 3. We have a full information refer to different financial crisis. You go there and summarize some main point, refer to 3 steps for different financial crisis. Okay, students. So I give you 15 to 20 minutes and then we come back and we discuss together. Okay. So I break Zoom for you.